Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how physics PhD students study for exams. Trust me, I just took a couple exams and this video would have helped me for sure. These things aren't just hard, they're legendary. They make you question your life choices, your sanity, and sometimes even your understanding of the universe itself. Sometimes it makes you want to study physics in a more direct way if you understand. But hey, we survive the exams, more or less. But today I'm going to show you how. This isn't just about studying, it's about preparing like a pro. So let's dive right in. These exams usually have three parts: pure theory, problem solving, and conceptual questions. But it's not just about plugging numbers into equations. Professors want to know if you really get the material. A pro tip: if you can, ask around for previous exams or examples of questions that professors have given in the past. Usually professors stick to patterns, and knowing those patterns can save you. For example, if you know there's always going to be a question about deriving Maxwell's equations, or deriving the invariance of the space-time interval, you'll know exactly where to focus when you're studying. Jumping into these questions, your theory questions are the run-of-the-mill: did you read the textbook? Did you go to the lecture? Did you really understand what was going on in the class at least? These questions are generally like, what are Newton's laws? Or what are the laws of thermodynamics? If you read the textbook and paid attention in class, you should be totally fine on these types of questions. Next up are the problems themselves. These test your ability to do the math behind the physics. Can you tell me how far a ball is thrown when we give you an initial velocity and a height? Like I said, these questions generally test your ability to do the math, so if you know how to do the homework problems, you should be totally fine on this part as well. Lastly, you got the conceptual questions. These are some of the harder ones. These make sure you understand the connection between the math and the physics. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, if I throw the ball twice as hard, where will it land? These kinds of questions are generally a little bit harder because they require you to really understand what's going on. So these might trip you up a bit sometimes, but make sure you study the homework questions and the textbook, and if you do that, you should be totally fine. Next up, gather your tools. My go-to is lecture notes, textbooks, practice problems, maybe some sticky notes that you've written down with equations during class, and anything I can really dig up online. Maybe I'm putting a whole sheet together full of key concepts that are important on the test. Try to compile everything into one spot. Sometimes I like to put things into a Google Drive, or an alternative is a massive binder that, I have used in the past, but a drive generally seems cleaner. Lastly, make sure you collaborate and ask your friends what resources they're using. You'd be surprised how often someone has a great cheat sheet or maybe a practice problem set that you didn't know existed. Collaboration is key, so make sure to talk to your peers even before you hit the books. Once you've got your resources, it's time to make a plan. I generally like to write down a list of topics that I need to study for the exam, and I'm an avid user of Google Calendar. Be sure to use any calendar you want, but Google Calendar works for me. What I like to do is I like to break the material into chunks, like theory one day, problems the next, review every few days, and don't forget to factor in breaks. You're not a robot, even if you feel like one in the physics department. And no, studying the night before is not a plan. Trust me, I've tried, and it did not really work.
Oh my God!
Alright, let's talk problems. This is where most of the actual learning happens.
Oh my God, bro.
Start with the basics. You don't want to really write down all the equations and just be confused at the end of the entire day. Start tackling the easier problems first. You don't really want to jump straight into solving Schrodinger's equation for a particle in a box if you don't really know how to work Dirac notation, for example. Make sure to build your confidence with simpler problems first. These things really form the crux of what you're going to be doing on the physics exam anyway. Once you're comfortable, take the harder stuff. These problems will make you sweat, bleed, maybe cry, but they're the ones that really stick with you. And if you got these locked down, then you'll be pretty safe on the exam. Be sure not to work on these all alone. Sometimes physics is pretty hard. Obviously solo studying is helpful, but there's always that smart kid that maybe can teach you a better way to do it. He's just better.
Simple, really. I'm just better.
But point is, somebody else might see that you're doing a pretty difficult method. And working on these hard problems with others saves time and ensures that more information gets in your brain rather than just struggling on one hard problem that you're just not able to do. Next up, let's be real. Exams are stressful. You're going to be feeling burnt out at some point in time. That's normal. The trick is to know when to step back. If you're staring at your notes and nothing is really sinking in, maybe it's time for a break. Go for a walk, grab a snack. Anything really is relaxation when you're studying for these exams. Oh, and definitely sleep. Please sleep. No amount of last-minute cramming is worth walking into an exam half asleep. The day before the exam, don't go overboard. Review key equations and concepts, or keep it light. This isn't the time to dive into something new unless you really completely missed a section when you were studying. Be sure to pack your bag ahead of time. Calculator, pens, ID, snacks, whatever you need. Review equation sheets, especially. Those things are super important on the exam, and if a professor gives them to you and you need the equations, you need to be able to find exactly which equation you want when you want it. And knowing the equation sheet can definitely help. And finally, do something that helps you relax. Watch a movie, call a friend, whatever works for you. Going in calm and confident is half the battle. So there you have it, how physics PhD students prepare for exams. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but with the right strategies, you'll get through it. Don't forget, you're smarter than you think you are. And be sure to let me know in the comments which study tip you will be using from this video. Or if you're interested in other topics, be sure to put them down in the comments so I know exactly what topics to tackle. So thanks for watching, stay strong, and keep looking up, guys. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and tricks on how to PhD. It's free, and you can change your mind at any point in time, and it really helps me out as well.